Woznicki, and joining me for the first time this weekend is Matt Dwyer. Our first matchup, a play-in game. Oklahoma State taking on the Silicon Valley Skrewts, and this Oklahoma State team certainly playing one of the tougher regions. Silicon Valley, though, it was not an easy schedule for them coming through pool play yesterday.
Definitely not. They had a lot of close matches. They definitely had to run the gauntlet to be able to get here today.
Our second match of the day right here on pitch one. We'll get into bracket play. It'll be Bowling Green taking on New York QC. Bowling Green, one of those teams that was undefeated after day one yesterday. Look at this Oklahoma State team now. Their team captain, Hayden Appleby. And coming into World Cup weekend, U.S. Quidditch Cup weekend, their official record of 32-8, including unofficial games, a record of 43-9. So one thing is for sure, they've gotten their games under their belt to get them prepared and make a deep run in this year's U.S. Quidditch Cup 9.
I definitely agree. OK State has definitely had stepped it up this season, had a lot of wins, definitely moved up a tier, I think, in the Southwest over some historically stronger teams, and definitely surprised a lot of people coming in.
As you look at this matchup, where do you see the separation being between these two teams that could come down and determine the outcome?
I think that Oklahoma State's physicality will be a lot for the Skrewts to handle, and the West can be a physical region, but it does not match up to the Southwest at all. I think if that Oklahoma can put the pressure on the Skrewts and keep control the pace of the game and don't let the Skrewts slow ball too much, they could easily win this.
And we are underway with our first match of day two of U.S. Quidditch Cup 9. And Matt, I won't put you on the spot yet, but I'll give you time to think about it. I'm going to ask you at the end who is going to be your Final Four at the end of the day.
All right, I'll keep it in mind.
The red and black uniforms for Silicon Valley Skrewts and Okie State in the gray, orange, and white. Scoreless here early, just about 30 seconds gone by. Back here on pitch one, and we're looking like we're once again going to have beautiful conditions as the pass behind the hoops denied right there. Tall keeper in front for Okie State. That was number 27 for Okie State, Elias Kellogg. Once, as started to mention there, beautiful conditions again for today. A little bit breezy, similar to what we started out yesterday, but the sunshine is out. Should make for a great day, and by the end of it, we'll have crowned a champion.
Aaron pass goes wide for OK State. Skrewts maintaining bludger control for right now. State tried to get it back and was unable to bring it in as Skrewts were anticipating the move.
Did you have a chance to watch either of these teams at all yesterday?
I did not. I'm at staff for this event, so unfortunately I got to watch very few games. I have seen some film of them throughout the season, however, so I have a little bit of an idea of how they play.
And Jacob Widstrom is a player that I had an opportunity to watch yesterday when Oklahoma State took on Tennessee Tech, and Widstrom certainly a big part of the success for Oklahoma State. Scoreless, almost 2 minutes gone by. Quaffle controlled by Oklahoma State, and they're going to slow things down a little bit, try and get some numbers forward.
Keeper driving into the lane as the beaters clear it out, and he hits that mid-range shot, drawing first blood.
10-0 Oklahoma State. It's also going to be interesting to see which team, one of these teams, is going to be able to wake up a little bit early, try and get past that physical tiredness that carried over from yesterday.
Definitely. I can tell you as a player playing in multiple national games that day two is definitely hard, not only on your body but also on your mind, trying to get through, and it's a do or die type of mentality.
Finished up day one yesterday with a great match between Texas A&M and the LA Gambits, two teams that are both in bracket play today. That one going to overtime. It was the second time on pitch one that we had an overtime match.
I think a lot of people ended up picking that upset. Initially, I was skeptical about it, but the more I looked at the statistics and I looked at Gambit's weaknesses and A&M's strengths, it seemed less unlikely that they would create the upset, and they did.
We have a player down for the Skrewts. Tackle there, and you can tell immediately by the reaction, went down hard. And while we have a moment, we can mention we do have a rather interesting matchup going on behind us on pitch two. George Mason taking on Crimson Elite. George Mason, a team that a lot of people didn't expect to get out of pool play. And Crimson Elite coming out of the pool of death, coming out of pool 4 is what people have been referring to it as. So that's a very tough play-in match. And, you know, Crimson Elite, possibly a team that shouldn't be in that play-in match, but because of pool play and the tough schedule that they had, they're right there.
Absolutely. Crimson Elite have been strong all season, but unfortunately, due to some official forfeits, it dropped their seeding, and they ended up getting a harder pool. And George Mason, been kind of inconsistent this season, but have really stepped it up today. Had some interesting results in that pool as well.
George Mason, I think you can really say, is a team, as we have it tied up now at 10. George Mason is the team that a little bit scary to play right now, just because of their style of play, and you know, just one of those, I don't want to say sleepers, but just teams that are going to make it tough for you in the early round of bracket play.
I'd definitely say if I had to pick an early Cinderella run team, I think GMU would be in the running there.
Almost 4 minutes gone by. Quaffle being controlled right now by Oklahoma State. Trying to clear some room in front, thrown behind. That shot tipped over the hoop. Good block in front there.
Oklahoma State resetting. This is one player I think you need to watch here. Number 1 on Oklahoma State, Hayden Appleby. He's a Team USA player this summer. I have had the chance to play with him at a tournament once. Incredible player, great athlete, really is going to be a driving force for this OK State team.
Now talk about what you're looking forward to with that USA team coming up this summer.
Complete domination, quite frankly. I think in past years, Team USA has dominated the competition quite well, and I hope to see that trend continue. I do try to pay attention to some international competition. I did actually play overseas in England for just a little bit while I was studying abroad, and they're definitely up and coming. And I think they have a more serious mentality about it now. It seems to me that places like England and Australia, you know, they're about where we were 2 years ago or so in the sport. So I think the games will consistently get harder every World Cup, but I think Team USA will come out in the end.
Certainly a lot of excitement coming up in Germany this summer. And that shot, good distance on that one. And now referees raising their arm. Will this one count on the scoreboard? Opportunity for Oklahoma State to make it 30-10. And a late throw after being hit by the bludgers, so no goal. Our score will remain 20-10. Quaffle going to be controlled by the Skrewts.
And it looks like they're counting the goals good. I believe the foul was on the Skrewts, and that's why Oklahoma State got the bludger back. So goal is good, 30-10. OK State in the lead.
So a little separation right now. Let's see how the Skrewts respond. Certainly been Oklahoma State playing a bit of that faster pace early on.
Definitely. I think they're trying to come out here and make a bit of a statement and control the pace. I don't think they've quite done so yet. Skrewts are still going to try and be as slow as possible, try and set themselves up, kind of like a low percentage turnover rate and high percentage shots.
Quaffle still controlled by the Skrewts. 6 minutes gone by.
Skrewts driving in. Doesn't seem to have much support from his teammates down this side of the field.
Yeah, Oklahoma State able to get numbers back. Everyone back at about midfield for the Skrewts. And Oklahoma State defense being applauded by their bench there.
Skrewts still holding on to bludger control. Oklahoma State trying to get it back now.
And that shot is good.
Long shot from Hayden Appleby.
Yeah, and a lot of space in front there. A little too much space for a player like Appleby.
I think so, yeah. I think Skrewts needed to step up there and keep a man on him. With a player of that caliber, if you let him roam free, he's going to make you pay for it.
And now we're right at that point. Snitch range, 40-10. Inside the 11-minute mark. Team like Texas right now, down in the front row looking on at this matchup. Texas getting that #1 seed.
I think a lot of people called that the pool of life, that Texas was given a gift there. They were able, I believe, to cap all their opponents on point differential and easily take that 1 seed.
One thing that you have to look at there, though, is it may have been a softer pool for Texas there, but when you look at it that way, sometimes Texas might have looked at that way, but they didn't. They still got the job done and took care of business to get that 1 seed.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is a team that is athletes top to bottom, that is always looking for that four-peat. Texas forever, as I heard a player call it.
Stoppage in play.
Skrewts seem to be having a little trouble with their passing. I don't know if it's the breeze or maybe they're just a little sleepy this morning, but a lot of passes being bobbled or not quite hitting their mark.
I talked about it quite a bit yesterday. For those teams that are used to those long passes, you get up into the breeze, we have some gusts at times. It really has to change your approach. The short, quick passes, the drives, that can put you in front and allow you to run away with it.
Absolutely. And in a team like the Skrewts, if you're trying to play a slower game, those longer passes will help you do that. Not being able to complete those longer passes, coupled with OK State putting pressure on your chasers, could spell trouble for them.
40-10 your score. We've hit the 10-minute mark. Okie State with the quaffle controlled right now, but still bludger control for the Skrewts. And that shot no good. Got a pretty good look there on the right side, just sailed it high.
And OK State has gained bludger control back, probably for one of the first times in this game. Skrewts have held onto it for quite a while.
That's going to make it that much tougher right now, as Oklahoma State will look to try and add to their lead.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, for Oklahoma State, for their defense right now, they haven't needed bludger control to hold the Skrewts to just 1 goal in almost 9 minutes gone by.
Exactly. That tough physical Southwest defense where they're able to man up, chaser to chaser, certainly helps them in this matchup here.
Right at mid-pitch right now. We're 51 51 for the Skrewts. Has it now, passes it off, gets it back. But then there's the example right there, that win, a little bit of English on that ball, and nearly got away for a turnover.
That was good of Oklahoma to be right on top of that, be looking to pick that up. It shows that they're not sleeping, they're staying on their toes.
Hard not to try and keep an eye on the Crimson Elite George Mason match going on behind us.
Score is only 20-10 in favor of Crimson Elite right now.
You have to think George Mason's going to have a chance. They stay within snitch range, greatly improves their odds.
Absolutely.
Bludger play there, quaffle loose.
Those Skrewts speeders are just shutting everything down on both sides. Skrewts aren't advancing, but Oklahoma State can't push them back.
Inside of 8 minutes. And dangerous pass there. Quaffle loose, now picked up. And thrown into the backfield. Skrewts still trying to figure out a way to get numbers forward and try and get in front of the hoops. Easier said than done right now.
It could be that the Skrewts just want to stall out, hope to keep it close, and then hope that seeker game comes out in their favor. It's a very real strategy. It's dangerous, but if you can make it work, then you can win some tough matchups.
Shot no good on the last attempt for the Skrewts. 40-10 remains your score in favor of Oklahoma State. If you're just joining us, Brad Woznicki and Matt Dwyer here with you for our first match of the day. Two teams on the outside looking in, trying to get into that bracket play-in game right now. Inside of 7 minutes.
Oklahoma State, slowly bringing it up the field. Beaters once again trying to get bludger control back from the Skrewts, who seem to be holding on to it quite easily. High pass over the top. Oklahoma State, another long pass.
And unable to get it out of snitch range. Quaffle controlled now by the Skrewts. Just to recap some of the matches yesterday for Silicon Valley, they beat Lock Haven 100-80. And then they lost to Bowling Green by 80. Lost by Snitch Catch to Boston University, and then ended the day with a victory over Intensity. That was the game that they needed to get to where they are now, the play-in game. And for Oklahoma State, down in Pool 6, they opened up the day yesterday with a 160-90 win over RIT, a 150-90 win over Tennessee Tech. That was played right here on pitch 1. And a very tough and high-scoring loss to Penn State, 260-230. That was one of the longer matches of the day at 41 minutes. That was the longest match played in Pool 6. And finally for Oklahoma State, they were dominated by Michigan, 230-100. And Michigan is the team that a lot of people are putting in their Final Four.
Absolutely. This year has been one of the best years for Michigan so far. They've always come into regionals looking very strong, and a great stat, for every regional up until this year, they have met their normal school rival Michigan State in the bracket at regionals and have lost every single year until this one, where they won and went on to win the regional championship.
Another thing I think we can know when you're talking about cool facts, at least one team from every region is being represented in bracket play today.
That's good. Yeah, a lot of people were sleeping on the Northwest, but Boise State came out here, balled real hard, went 4-0. A lot of people were not expecting that.
40-20 your score. Skrewts staying within snitch range as we reach the 4:30 mark. New York QC now in the front row around pitch 1, getting ready for their matchup against Bowling Green. Coming up, scheduled start time of 9:40. Quaffle picked up, Oklahoma State has it. On the attack, trying to get to the outside, bowling his way through, that is good. That's Hayden Appleby.
Yeah, the Skrewts were caught sleeping there. They did not man up on Appleby immediately, gave him some space, and once he gets ahead of steam, there's probably no stopping him.
You're exactly right. Inside of 4 minutes, Skrewts trying to come back quickly on the attack. This is that danger point right now. And that shot deflected wide.
The Skrewts are looking a little flustered right now.
It certainly does seem that Oklahoma State, it looks like the fresher team right now out here as well.
Yeah, Oklahoma State seems to have much more poise on the ball in these last few possessions. Skrewts have been very eager to try and put in quick scores, quick passes, and it hasn't quite worked for them.
We will resume play here momentarily. Quaffle will go to the Skrewts. 3:28 on the clock right now. 50-20 your score in favor of Oklahoma State. Now the Quaffle being placed back behind the hoop. So this is going to be a quick scoring opportunity here with the way the field is set. And that shot is good. 20-point match. Much needed for the Skrewts. As my broadcast partner starts to work on his bracket, he'll have his Final Four for you set up and maybe a champion by the time we get done with our first matchup today. The pen is shaking, my friends, I can tell you that much.
There's a lot of great matchups, and I don't know if I'm picking correctly. I wasn't very good at March Madness this year.
Well, then again, who was?
Exactly.
Inside of 3 minutes, Skrewts with the chance to make this a 1-goal match.
Skrewts have definitely sped up just a little bit, probably hoping to keep it close, lest OK State gets out of range.
Skrewts' dangerous pass. Quaffle nearly knocked away. Now bludger play will clear some space. And 50-40. The bludger play that time cleared some space. 50-40. Approaching the 2-minute mark. Skrewts starting to play better at the right time. Back-to-back goals.
To give you an update on the game behind us, 40-10 in favor of Crimson Elite. Still a snitch range game.
Here's
Aiden Appleby
Appleby.
driving.
And able to just lay that one through.
Just set it right through, barely put up a fight.
60-40. And we have a whistle. .129 on the clock, 60-40 your score.
I'm going to be honest, I'm surprised that the Skrewts are keeping it this close. I assumed that they would for a little while, but then maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes in, Oklahoma State would start blowing it wide open, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
And we resume play. Oklahoma State with the quaffle, trying to get it back to a 3-goal lead. Bludger play prevents that goal. Approaching the 1-minute mark.
Oklahoma State has finally regained bludger control just after that last drive. Hopefully this will help keep the Skrewts contained and help their offense as well.
That shot, what a shot. 60-50. 45 seconds on the clock. The snitch is now on the pitch.
And one drive later, OK State giving up bludger control back to the Skrewts. And with 30 seconds until seeker play, Oklahoma State is going to have to turn it up if they want to pull away.
Inside of 30 seconds. Bludger play. And it is now Oklahoma State with bludger control. Quaffle picked up. Oklahoma State trying to make it a 2-goal match. And unsuccessful there. Final seconds until the seeker floor. And time expires. Here we go. Both seekers attacking. Bludger play. It's going to give Oklahoma State a one-on-one opportunity. Nearly a snitch catch there. On the chase right now is Tyler Trotman for Oklahoma State. He'll have to go back to his hoops for a moment. Bludger control in favor of the Skrewts right now.
It appears that both beaters around the Skrewts are giving their seeker plenty of time, plenty of goes at that snitch.
And bludger play here. Skrewts still with an opportunity one-on-one.
Looks to be a yellow card for the Oklahoma State keeper. This certainly cannot help their chances right now.
70-50 your score. Favor of Oklahoma State.
Right now it appears there are no bludgers back for Oklahoma State, so they're going to have to man up very physically in order to stop this drive.
Skrewts trying to make it a one-goal match. That shot too high. Opportunity here. Both seekers on the snitch. Bludger misses, and then we have a snitch catch. Wait for the official call, but it looks as though Oklahoma State is going to move into bracket play.
Referees conferencing now.
And that's it. Your final score, Oklahoma State 100. Silicon Valley Skrewts 50, so their run in the U.S. Quidditch Cup 9 is done.
Yes, it is.
For Oklahoma State, a team, they able to build a little bit of a small lead, but they, Silicon Valley did not go away in this one, so they kept it right there. And now we're getting that time now. Matt, you bringing out your bracket. Give me your final four.
Okay. From the upper left quadrant, I am picking Texas, University of Texas. From the lower right, it was very hard to go against my home region and go against Michigan, but I do think that the LA Gambits win that matchup and go to the semis. On the other side, I've picked Lone Star to have a relatively easy path.